Hello everybody and welcome in the first video of this new playlist, Python libraries. In this video we are going to discuss the random library in details. This module is used to generate random numbers and choices, as you might guess. First, you have to know that this is a built-in library, so you don't need to download it from external resources. You just need to type import random to be able to use it. The first method we have is called random. This method works without taking any parameter from user, and it returns a random decimal number between 0 and 1, with 0 being inclusive and 1 exclusive. Let's see that together. We first have to type import random, as you can see, and now we are able to use all the methods inside random. I'm going to type print so we can see the output on the screen, then random dot random, and don't forget the open and close parentheses. Let's run the code, and as you can see we have a random floating number between 0 and 1. The second method we have is called randint, short for random integer. As you can see, it takes two numbers as parameters and returns a random integer number between those two given numbers, and both of them are inclusive. Let's check this together. We are going to use the same setup here, and now we are typing random.randint. He is waiting for us to give him A and B. For A, the lower bound, I'll give him 0, and for B, I'll give him 10. And then let's run the code together. As you can see, 1, 10, 0. And this is a random integer between 0 and 10, with 0 and 10 are inclusive. The next function we have is randrange, short for random range. It takes three parameters: start, stop, and an optional parameter step. Without the step parameter, this method do the same as randint we saw previously. The step parameter determines the increment between each number in the sequence, as in the example below. To clarify things up, I'm going to use the random.randrange function with and without the step parameter. Let's see that together. I'm going to give the start 0, and for the end, for the stop, I'm going to give it 10. And for the first one, I'm not giving it a step parameter, but for the second one, I'm going to give it 3 as a step parameter, and we'll see the difference. So for this first one, it's giving a random number between 0 and 10, but for the second one, the increment between each number and the other is 3. So it's just giving us 0, 3, and 6 and 9. For the next method, we have uniform. This method returns a random floating number between two numbers given as parameters. This one is very important. Let's see that together. And for this example, I'm going to print random.uniform. As you can see, it's asking us A and B. For A, I'm going to give it 1, for example. For B, I'm going to give it 5.5. And I can give it a floating number, as you can see, or an integer number. Let's run it. You can see on the right the output as expected. The method we have next is called choice. It takes a sequence of numbers, strings, characters, or any other type, and returns one random element from it. By the way, the sequence can be a list, a tuple, a string, or any other iterable. Let's check this out together. For this example, I created 3 lists. The first one contains 5 integers. The second one, called letters, contain 3 characters. Don't know why I called letters. Let's change it to character. characters. I hope I spelled right. And the third one is called mix. It contains a string, a floating number, an integer, and another list. So for that, let's try to print random.choice from nums and see what we will get. We will get, as you can see, one of those 5 integers. For the second one, I'm going to put an argument characters, and it chooses one of those 3 characters. And for the last one, I'm trying with mix, is giving us, as you can see, one of those elements. So for the next method, we have choices. It's so similar to the previous one, but can be used to choose more than one random element from the sequence. It has 2 additional parameters: weight parameter, which is list that specifies the percentage of choices occurrences, and a parameter k that specifies how many random choices we want. So to make things so clear, I'm going to give the example right now. And now back to our 3 lists that we did make previously, but let's try our new function that we saw now, choices, and it's asking us 3 parameters. The first one I'm going to give is the list we are going to take choices from, and I'm choosing for now the first one, which is nums. And for the second one, it's asking for weights. So we are going to create now w as weights, a list containing 5 elements representing the 5%. So for one, I want 50% chance to occur. For the second one, I want 10%, third one 10, 10, and the last one 20. So we want to make sure that those are 5 as in the list we are going to take from, and we are going to make sure that they sums up to 100. So 50 plus 20 plus 10 plus 10 plus 10 equal 100. So we are going to insert the w here as weights, and lastly, sorry for that, and lastly we are going to insert the k. If we left it like that, it's going to take one choice as default. As you can see, it's a list containing just one element. I'm going to repeat that. It's giving us 10. But if I added k equals 2, for example, let's see that. It's giving us a list containing 2 elements. And it should give us 50% chance of ones, because it has 50% and 10% of 20s. And that's how it works. And of course it works for any other type other than integers right here. And now it's time for our last method we have for today. It's called shuffle. And as you might expect, you give it a sequence and it shuffles the hell out of it and returns the shuffled version. So for the last example, I don't think it's hard to grasp. We have the same nums list and we want to shuffle. So random.shuffle and inserting nums here. And lastly, we want to print the nums again, the same one, and see what changes. And as you can see, it's shuffled now. And the important thing you should know that this shuffle method just shuffles nums in its place. So for example, if we want to print random.shuffle, we will get none. So lastly, this is a recap for all what we've seen in this video. Take a screenshot to remind you every time you want to use the random library. And at the end, if you like the video, don't forget to like it and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content like that. And as always, thanks for watching.